Hello and welcome to day 14 of building an AI app in public. So I'm going from an idea and building it and launching it within 30 days. That is the plan at least, and hopefully taking it to revenue, at least my first sale within the 30 days. We are now on day 14, so we are roughly half of the way through. Feeling good about the project. We have one little security issue that I'm not able to deal with. I tried to deal with it before the stream and that's why I'm late. I'm getting conflicting reports with Lovable saying, yes, absolutely, I've got it. But then Lovable's security scanner audit is also finding problems. I know what it is, and I think I know how to fix it. I'm not going to spend the stream doing it, and I'm not going to waste any more time on it now, but I'm going to loop back to it in a bit. It's relatively easy to fix. It just hasn't managed to yet. So where were we yesterday? We were putting together... gosh, what were we doing? We were putting together the generate landing page ability. So the ability to create a landing page directly within the application instead of forcing my customers to create their own landing pages and host their own lead magnets. So we've put together an ability to capture an email address directly into their dashboard, and I'm hoping that this makes it a little bit more user-friendly, so they don't need to build their own website, they don't need to build their own email capture and lead magnet delivery system, because that's going to be a barrier to getting customers on board. This was a much larger feature than I was planning to add before the beta launch, but I decided that it's going to be well worth it. So we've actually gone through the various steps of putting that in place, and it works. It is fine. We've created that security issue, but we will work on that. The thing that I need to do now is, well, I'll tell Lovable directly. It's probably going to be the simpler way to do it. Hey Lovable, thank you. We have put in place the generate landing page functionality. You've created the button which connects to the particular lead magnet, so that is fantastic. However, at the moment, once a user, my user, has generated a lead magnet, they have no way to get back into it. So what we need is an ability for them to find their previously generated landing pages connected to the particular lead magnet. So right now we have on the lead magnets, which are under the videos, we have a generate landing page button. Once they have generated a landing page for that particular lead magnet, that button needs to change into view landing page, or take them into the dashboard, which you've already created for me. So that's one change we need to make. We also need a way for them to see their their landing pages. So we're going to need something else on their dashboard. So we're going to need another section below the video and lead magnet history, and that it's going to, do we want to tab this? Let's actually tab it, because otherwise we're going to have a very long page. So if there's a way so we can have them toggle between video and lead magnet history, which is in place already in the dashboard, and landing pages, and then there will be a list of their landing pages along with the lead magnet and the video details, and it will have a basic count of how many visitors, how many people have subscribed using that lead magnet, and the date it was created, and then they should be able to click through to the dashboard from there. So we also need to make sure that those dashboards are saved and they are associated with the user account who creates them. They must not be accessible for other user accounts. So first, before we start, give me a plan for implementing all of this, and then we'll work through step by step. I want the plan first and foremost. Thank you. And sorry to everyone on TikTok. It took me a lot longer to get online than I thought I would, because I was trying to deal with a security issue on the site. It's not, well, I mean, my site's not live, so it's not a problem yet, but it's something that I do need to deal with. I know roughly what it is. It's just something I need to work on. It's not a particularly interesting thing to work on either, so I don't want to do it on the stream. But we will get it fixed. And it's to do with the fact that we are collecting email addresses, obviously, because that's sensitive data, so we need to make sure that that is locked down and it is only available to the user who has created a particular landing page or to the person who has created a particular lead magnet. So I'll create a comprehensive plan to implement landing page management functionality. So data and security verification. This might actually fix the security issue I'm having, because right now the emails that are being collected are not they're not only visible by the user who created that landing page, which obviously big problem. So this might actually fix it. Lead magnet card updates, it's going to add the button, cool, and dashboard tabbed interface, cool, navigation and integration, ensure proper routing, yes please, and then testing and security, cool. Sounds good. Make sure I can test it at each step. So complete the phase, report to me what I should check, and then we move on. Okay, so we're going to go ahead with the first part. So for those of you who are new to the stream, we are building an application from scratch in 30 days. We're going to build and launch it. We are at day number 14. The specific application I'm building is a tool that allows me to create lead magnets from content. So a lead magnet is basically a PDF checklist, a guide, or some kind of valuable piece of extra material that I can give away along with a video. So if somebody comes and watches a video, there will be a link at the bottom saying, hey, do you want a PDF version of this? Do you want a summary? Do you want an action guide, etc., etc.? If so, here's how you get it. And they'll click on the page, they'll click on the link and it will take them to a landing page. That landing page will take their email address and they will get given the lead magnet. That's what we're building. So the idea is that my customers will be people with YouTube channels who want to generate more leads from their videos. At the moment, what most YouTubers do is have a generic lead magnet, or they have sign up for my newsletter, which is not very compelling. Instead, this would allow them to have a specific lead magnet or multiple lead magnets for every single one of their videos, which is a really cool, well, hopefully a really cool and valuable use. I want to do this for myself. So I'm building this internally for me, but I'm also building it ready for customers as well. And we will launch before the end of the 30 days. And I'm going to be doing this once a month. So basically 1 hour a day building something in public and hoping to show people that it is relatively simple to do. It doesn't require you to be a master level computer scientist or a engineer, but it is something that you at home can follow along with. So this is my first round through September. I will do another one in October, and then we will just push forward and people can join me hopefully, and we will do it together. So phase 1 complete, it says. So database structure, landing pages are properly linked to lead magnets. Okay, RLS security, landing page dashboard. Landing page dashboard exists apparently. Right, we are going to again ignore that security thing because I'm going to swing back to it. I do know there is a security issue. I'm expecting people in chat to be like, critical error, you're in trouble. I know. And I'm going to swing back to it and deal with it. All right, so in the dashboard. So I mean, it shouldn't have made me a dashboard yet, so I don't know why it's landing page dashboard, landing page view component. Yeah, I mean, that already exists from before. Okay, that's fine. What you should do is navigate to dashboard and confirm you see your video transcripts and lead magnets. Yes. Check existing lead magnets. Verified show they say landing page. Yes, they do. Try generating one. Okay, well, we've done all this before, but let's give it a shot. Right, this one already has a landing page, and that's why it didn't work, which is also what we're trying to fix. Which ones don't have a landing page? I don't know. Let's just scroll down to this one. Doesn't even have a lead magnet. Try this one. Okay, so this takes me to the dashboard. This is looking squeezed up because I haven't dealt with the responsiveness yet, so that's why it's looking weird. It's also so TikTok can see it. So if you're watching on YouTube and you think it looks a bit rubbish, Yeah, it does. We're going to deal with the responsiveness later. Responsiveness is basically how it adapts to the screen size. So when I squeeze it like that, can you see this burger menu appears at the top? This is going to be what's on the mobile version. And then when we expand it out like this, everything kind of pops back into place. That's going to be for the desktop version. However, I'm doing it in this weird arrangement right now, just so I can fit all on my screen. So if I had multiple screens, this would also be a lot easier. It is a limitation of streaming this at the same time as I'm doing it, because I need to show you what I'm doing. Yeah, there's no way around it. So there we go. And then preview. So we can, there we go. So that has created a very basic landing page. Let's do a quick test. So Kyle plus test1 at gmail.com. It's not my email address, although if you've watched the stream, you've probably seen my email address enough times. That's fine. It's relatively public. I do not check my email, so it won't help. And then boom, that has appeared in here. So cool. The lead magnet is visible. The thank you page is working. So that is cool. Test landing page creation, access landing page dashboard. If you have an existing landing pages, you can go and find them. Okay, but that's fine. We need to create. So, okay, that is fine. Yes, please, phase 2. So we're moving on to the next bit. The reason I'm breaking the task up is if we had it do it in one shot and there is an error, we don't necessarily know where that error has happened. So what I've said is give me a plan for this. And it's split the task into 4 parts, and then we're implementing each of the parts one by one, and I'm checking along the way. This isn't going to completely reduce errors, but it is going to at least mean there's a good chance of me seeing the error after the phase, instead of going all the way through with the build and then at the end being like, crap, I'm screwed. It's not infallible, but it should help a little bit. Just move myself a bit. There we go. Popping over to see if there's any questions. Binar says induced. Okay, maybe I'll get a better view on YouTube. Yeah, the TikTok view is fine. I'm about to buy the new iPhone 17. Is it a 17? 17 Pro, which has better cameras, so that might be better. Bernard says, can you tell me what you're operating on with? So this is Lovable. Lovable is a vibe coding application. There's a few out there. There's Bolt, there's Replete, there's VO, and there's Lovable. I've used them all. I personally prefer Lovable. Everyone has their own preference here. What it is it allows me to create applications using natural language, so I can use human language, English in my case, to create applications without having to write code. You can then move your projects over to something like Cursor, which is a bit more, it's for developers, it's for a different market, but I'm going to build as much as possible inside of Lovable because I want to show that this stuff is accessible. It's also a bit of a gateway drug that if you want to start building in Lovable, you might find you kind of want to learn to code after that, and you can do them at the same time, which is a really good idea. So I'll proceed with phase 2. I need to update the accordion and dashboard to fetch and pass landing page information. Now I need to update the dashboard. Okay, so added new property. So it should say view landing page instead of. What's happened there? There we go. There we go. I'm going to go slightly bigger. So it should say. I think I need to push that change. And I know there's a security error, that's fine. So it should say view landing page now instead of generate landing page. So what was happening before and why it's throwing up those errors was because I was trying to click on lead magnets that already had a landing page. Now interestingly, so there we go, I've got view landing page. So if I click on this, it takes me to the dashboard. Cool, that works, and it has the recent lead. So let's see. Actually get rid of that. So that I don't love. It takes a moment to load that for some reason. The view landing page, and it has all those previous leads. Okay, so those are all being assigned. I'm going to click that to get rid of it. So I don't love that loading. It's not okay. There's no error. It's just got a slow load on it. So I'm going to report that back to Lovable because I'd like that to be instant. So shows view, so that works. Updated navigation, navigates to the existing landing page. Yes, that worked. I checked it. Updated data fetching. It fetches landing page information for each lead magnet. Yep, that's probably what's slowing it down. And then video transcript accordion passes landing page ID. Yep, that is fine. Okay. Okay, that's solid. Oh, I'll just talk to it instead. Okay, that is good. All of those seem to be working. However, the data fetching, the dashboard now fetching landing page information for each lead magnet, seems quite slow. So every time I head back to the dashboard, there is a spinning loading icon, and it is not very fast. Is there a way we can, well, one, improve that speed, potentially by caching their results, because it shouldn't have to reload that every single time for, every time a user comes back to the dashboard. So could you give me some options, and then we will look at implementing, but options first. Thank you. So this isn't not working, it's just not very optimal, so we might want to, let's see if we can do something about it now. If we cannot, that's okay, we can push ahead, and then we'll loop back to it later. And all of these videos available on YouTube. There's a series now. This is day 14, so if you go here, it should be in playlists. Day 1, and then it has them all. Oh, so ignore all that stuff on the right. That is my YouTube tool. You can see all of the days here. I've got 13 days. I've got lots of questions. I really need to answer those questions. What made you choose Claude over ChatGPT for this flow? So I'm actually using ChatGPT in the background. So what's happening with this particular software is that people come onto the software, they enter a URL, a web address for a YouTube video, and that connects to the Google API, which is basically sending messages back and forward between Google and my piece of software. Sounds complicated, it's not really. I give it a password and it connects. That grabs the transcript from Google and then brings it into my application, and then I send that transcript off to ChatGPT along with some custom instructions based on my customer's business details, for example, and it generates lead magnets off the back of that. So I'm using ChatGPT for this. So you're absolutely right, the current implementation is inefficient with multiple database queries. Here are several options to improve performance. Batch database. Okay. So we can combine it into a single SQL query. We can use React query, Tanstack query, which is proper caching. I'll probably do that later. Local state, hybrid. Okay, so combine. All right, let's try. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bookmark. I'm going to basically save a little checkpoint here, and we're going to try the hybrid. Let's try the hybrid. So it's suggested four different methods there, and it's now suggesting a hybrid method. What I've done though is bookmarked it so that if this I was about to swear there. If this doesn't go well, I can roll back to it, and there'll be no harm done. Just a bit of lost time. Oops, knocking stuff over. I'm curious to know the credit score for your project so far. 104 240, I'd say less. Oh no, sorry. Uh, 340. I think it's less than that because I'm doing some other projects at the same time. So probably 300 credits. For people's information, let's pull up the pricing. So I am currently on 400 credits a month, which is $100 per month. I'm gonna run out. I'm definitely gonna run out. So I'm probably going to end up on the $200 a month plan for this. However, I am doing this live. I'm live streaming this. I'm building a couple of other projects at the same time. So $200 a month for me is not that much. I could be more efficient if I was using Cursor and I was paying per usage, like directly connected to Claude. So I could probably be more efficient there. But for the purposes of this live stream in particular, I want to show it with Lovable. So at the moment, I've got 60 credits left. I will probably update to $200 a month, and that will get me through the rest of the month, no problem. Yeah, which again is very, very low compared to hiring a developer. If I was hiring a developer to put this together, it would cost me a few thousand right off the bat. So it is a business cost and one that I'm very, very happy to take. And I'm also creating content off the back of it. But if $200 a month or $100 a month is a lot of money, I would recommend using Cursor. So Cursor is $20 a month for the software itself, and then you can hook it to your own API keys. So you can pay for access. It's pay as you go. And you're always going to be, the cheapest way to use any model is using the API, because that's like the base level connection. So tools like Lovable, this is using Claude in the background, so they are paying Claude an API cost, but they are adding a margin on top for me to use it. Okay, it is going ahead and doing all of that stuff. And I think so there is a free version, but you only get 5 credits a day. If you use, I can give you a where is it? A free credit. I can give you a referral code, and then you get an extra 10 free credits. So you'd get 15 credits, which is enough to kind of put together a very basic test version of what it is you want to build. But if you want to actually build and deploy, you'll end up having to pay. I think the lowest is $25 a month. But if cost is a problem, use Cursor or use Copilot, Microsoft Copilot, the GitHub Copilot, and you bring your own keys. So you go to somewhere like here. This is my OpenAI usage in the background. So I've spent on operating my new product, I've spent $2, $1, a couple of bucks, $1.26, because this is connected directly into the API, and the API is really, really, really cheap. And you create your own API key in here, and you can connect it to whatever vibe coding tool you're using. Sorry, you can connect it to Cursor or Copilot. You can't connect it to Lovable. You can't bring your own keys, can you? No, you can't. That would undermine their business. Wish I'd had the time to start from day one. We'll hunt for older recordings unless you summarize them elsewhere. Is there a brief list of all the necessary software? This is FFC 111. So yes, all the recordings are available on YouTube. I would say that catching up is it's quite a lot. That would be 13, 14 hours. So that's maybe not a good use of your time. So what I could do is, yeah, I should put together a brief guide about how to get started. I'm just using Lovable for this project. There are other tools you can 100% use, but this particular one is with Lovable because it is very easy to get started with. And I'm trying to reduce the barriers to entry. Cursor is fantastic. I use Cursor every day. But if for people who have never coded or never done anything technical, opening up Cursor for the first time is overwhelming. Okay, we're going to go and test the new update and see what happens. Hopefully by watching your channel, I should be able to set up my own business or Finn, how you're making some money by selling your program is something I don't know if I'm following. So this is all free, the vibe coding stuff. I'm not selling anything here. I don't even have Lovable referral codes. I should probably sort that out, shouldn't I? I haven't bothered. I don't know if they have a referral program, honestly. Right. So what are we doing? Oh, oh, yeah, that loaded really quickly. I forgot that we were looking for the loading speed, but that loading speed is instantaneous. So that 100% worked. So let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. Oh. So previously, whenever I came back to the dashboard, I was seeing a little loading circle. Now I am not. That is instantaneous loading. So that is fixed. Zerk. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So we've done the loading speed. So we now want to move on to phase 3. Oops, not that button. Okay, Lovable, that worked perfectly. That is hyper fast. So great job on that. Let's move on to phase 3. Thanks. SFC. Sorry, excuse me. SFC 111. A list of basic software is always useful. Basically, Lovable. That's all I'm using. So Lovable, once you start building, it will ask you to connect to Supabase. Supabase is another piece of, I guess, software. It does your databases in the back end, and they have an integration directly with Supabase, so it's a few button clicks, basically. You can use something else. You don't have to use Supabase, but it's really easy. The only other things I'm using are, I'm using the OpenAI API to connect with ChatGPT. So you can get that at platform.openai.com. Not really a piece of software, but I get an API key, which is basically like a little password that I use to connect and give my application access to ChatGPT. But apart from that, I'm not really using anything else. What software you use will depend on what you're building, honestly, or the kind of tech stack. What's going to exist inside your application will depend on what you're building. If you're building something that's going to work on a mobile phone, it's going to be a bit different to something that works on a website. But these are discussions you can have with ChatGPT, or you can have with Claude. You can say, hey, this is what I want to build. How do I, like, what the best, how do I build this? So that's what I did in the first episode of this live stream. I basically had a discussion back and forward with Claude saying, this is my idea. I'm going to build it in Lovable. What do I need to do? Help me come up with a plan, ask me questions, etc., etc. And I went back and forward. Okay, somebody else is saying a brief guide would be helpful. Yeah, maybe I do some kind of summary. I can put it in the news. What day is it? Thursday. I can put it in the newsletter this Saturday. That's probably the best bet. I actually wrote one a couple of weeks ago. Let's see if I can pull it up. So if you go to newsletter .ai with Kyle, I haven't been to it on this website apparently, on this browser. So AI with Kyle on the newsletter. If you go back, it's probably this one. Yeah, September the 6th has a guide. Yeah, it has a guide about how to get started with Lovable. So that's going to be the best place. I forgot I wrote this. Over the last year and a half, I've written about 700,000 words. So I often forget what I've written. So this is a basic getting started guide. So it talks about day 1 of this challenge, it talks about Lovable, what Lovable is, and it gives you a prompt that you can plug into ChatGPT or to Claude. That's going to go ahead and help you write a product spec. So for example, it wrote this product spec for me. Then you take that over to Lovable, you plug it in, and it will generate images. I actually created, I don't know if it's still live. Yep, there it is. I created this very, very fast vibe coded tool, extremely fast, using this prompt that you can see here. So this is all available in the newsletter. So I'd go and start with that. and it was the September the 6th, so a couple of weeks ago I wrote about this. I always forget what I've actually done because I write too much. What I meant is you're selling your own programs online or something, you're making a little bit, some bobs. Yeah, so I've had several launches this year. We've had 4 or 5 launches. I help, so one of my main incomes is going and teaching AI to businesses, because there's a huge amount of people out there and companies are trying to work out what the hell to do with AI. So I go in and give workshops, 1-hour workshops, 2-hour and 3-hour workshops to help businesses. I personally get paid about $2,000 per hour for giving a workshop. The highest I've been paid is $4,000 for 1 hour, which is great. That used to be my whole month's salary, so I can't complain. So what I also do is I license out my materials and I teach people how to go and give workshops and how to find clients, and to make that kind of money. And I have maybe 100 plus students who go and do that. They go and give my workshop around the world, and they make good money, very good money. So I've launched that a few times, and every time we launch that, it's like a 6-figure launch. So that's been a good source of income. I have a few other courses, but that's probably my primary one at the moment. I made an automation accelerator with Brand Nat, who you probably know. If you don't, you'll recognize her. This is her on TikTok. She's a good friend of mine, and we put together a course together. So there's lots of bits and pieces, and the newsletter as well. But the newsletter's free, the YouTube's free. So here we go. Phase 3 complete. Tabbed dashboard interface results. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Added tabs component. Dashboard now has videos and lead magnets and landing page tab. Created landing page list component. So we'll have a look at it. So into the dashboard, there should now, I don't see it. There it is. So now I've got 2 tabs. So video and lead magnets shows the actual videos that I've put into my generator, but then it also has landing pages. Okay, well, it hasn't quite fitted in, but yes, this works. I'm going to have to expand this so I can see if there's a button. There is. So I can get to the dashboard. Yes, I can. So landing page, preview, cool. Takes me to the page. I can see the views, I can see the leads, I can see conversion rate, when it's created, etc., etc. Sweet. Okay, so that works. It's just a bit ugly. And see if there's any errors on that. Otherwise, so I'm going to describe. So there's a couple of things I could do here. I could take a screenshot of it and say, hey, actually I will do that. So I'll take a screenshot and say, this is what it looks like. That's not working, is it? And I'll chuck that into Lovable. What do you call these? The landing page. So the tabs work, but the landing page entries, they might be called cards, I'm not sure, are not fitting inside the dashboard. See screenshot attached. Otherwise it works. Let's also have add a copy URL button for fast copying. Do we want a delete button? Let's not add a delete button yet. Okay, so what I've done is I've given it a photo of what I can see so it can understand what isn't working. I could also describe it in language, but it's just a bit quicker. I need an AI dictionary for all the new words and code words, etc. There's a moneymaker. That's hilarious. Let me pull it up. This is something I've been working on. So let me find it. I think did I build it in Claude? I can't remember anymore. Was it AI course? This is probably it. probably this one. Yeah. Just trying to find the curriculum. Here we go. So I'm going to put together a course like this. There are courses out there, really good courses. Microsoft just put out a great one recently, and deeplearning.ai have some really good ones. But I'm going to do one where I'm going to try and make it atomic learning, so really breaking down AI concepts into short videos. So I mainly do TikTok and Instagram videos, and they're all less than 3 minutes. I want to try and do that for the whole of AI in very short bite-sized videos, so you can just go in, get one little concept, and then move on to the next one. So it'd be starting with kind of flashy stuff, then into using AI, then big questions in ethics. So how close are we to AGI? Can machines think? No. The consciousness problem, alignment problem, AI safety, blah blah blah. Paperclip problem. That's a fun one. The future of AI. So kind of talking about where we're going or trying to. It's kind of hard to say. And then AI history. So perceptrons, GPUs, CUDA, GPT-3, etc. How LLMs actually work. This start to get a bit heavier. So what is a large language model? What's a context window? What's the training? I'll talk through all the different types of training, pre-training, fine-tuning, etc. Temperature. Neural networks. So again, going a level deeper. So we've talked about AI in general. We've talked about LLMs in general. Now we're going into neural networks. And then just kind of getting deeper and deeper and deeper. This stuff's about visual. And then going into more practical stuff, so building. So the levels of AI mastery. So the difference between using AI, anyone can use ChatGPT on a daily basis. Building with AI, that's what I'm doing with Lovable. And then building AI, which is actually building AI applications, which is a very high level. Lots of people confuse the 3 levels and assume that you need a computer science degree, a PhD, a mathematics, background to use AI and to build with AI. You don't. That's becoming easier. That kind of level with the linear mathematics and the machine learning, that's a very rare subset. So basically talking about building, going through AI no-code tools, so things like this, Lovable. Then talking about APIs, so again, kind of going layer by layer, then automation, and then building with like RAG, vector databases. So this is getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Production applications using LangChain, etc., etc. Deployment and scale. So I've got about 400 potential videos here, and the idea will be to make each one a 2 to 3 minute explainer, to keep it really tight. So obviously I can't go into a huge amount of detail in 3 minutes, but to break everything in the field down into these tiny little lessons, and then just bam, 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 bam through them, because there's some fantastic resources out there, like Andre Karpathy's, anything by Andre Karpathy. However, I've told 1 million people to use them. I'm always telling people, go and watch Deep Dive into LLMs like ChatGPT by Andre Karpathy. It's 3.5 hours long. So I think most people start it and they're like, no, but it's fantastic. I just want to create something that's a bit more accessible, because as much as I love him, 3.5 hour long PowerPoint presentation it's a hard ask. Okay, so it's added a few more elements. So yeah, thank you, FFC 101. That is something I'm looking at doing. Okay, I'm not sure if it's actually changed anything, but there are so many projects to do. Unfortunately, how are we doing for time? 20 minutes. So many projects. The big focus at the moment is YouTube, which is new for me, and I'll show it to you actually if you're watching on screen. So we've finally started to move and really move. So the channel analytics, you can see flat, and then boom. Subscribers too, flat, boom. So everything is, in the last week, started to kick off. So we've gained 1,000 subscribers in the last month, and it is speeding up. So yesterday was 200, it was 192, then 204, then 214, and it's just going up and up and up and up and up and up. which is fantastic to see. So that has been the priority for the last 2 months, and after 2 months of grinding, finally getting there. Okay, landing page. Well, that is no good, is it? That's still rubbish. Let's have a look. So proper flex controls to prevent overflow. Well, no, it has created the copy URL. Okay, let me check that works. Yep, cool. That's just to make it a bit easier for my customers to copy that stuff out, basically. Okay, so copy button is added and works. Overflow flex control not working. Still overflowing. It's a bit of a cop-out instruction, but that might be enough for it just to go back and check what's gone wrong. Ideally, I'd give it a lot more information, but that should be enough. Better doing this in Lovable or VS Code with Claude Sonnet? Yeah, 100%. So I have to say this. I need to put it on my screen, I think. Put a sticky note. The reason I'm using Lovable is because it's the most accessible, in my opinion. And the point of these live coding, oh, that's a new word. These live vibe coding sessions is to show people they can do it. So yes, 100% I could use VS Code, I could use Cursor, but the problem is then anyone who wants to get into vibe coding, who wants to build something with AI, they're going to see my screen and be like, ooh, no way. And I fully understand. Yes, you can learn how to use Cursor very quickly. Yes, it's still quite easy. Same with Claude Code, but it is intimidating looking compared to something like Lovable. Thanks, Crixon. Your videos are really good. Only a matter of time until the channel snowballs. Yes, it started to. It seems to be. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. What I've heard is that with YouTube, you get nothing for ages, and then YouTube all of a sudden is like, okay, you are now worthy, and then they shoot you. I've been told by a lot of big YouTubers that I talk to that 10,000 followers is when it kind of snowballs. We're now adding 200 subscribers a day, so it's still going to take a while to get there, but at least there's movement, because it's always really hard when you are building anything, when you're building an application, when you're building a business, hell, when you're doing anything and you don't see any results, it can be very disheartening. So we have been grinding on YouTube for, well, you can see, for a couple of months with some results, and then suddenly the algo gods have smiled and we are off to the races. But you have to get through those first couple of months of suck, basically, which most people don't. Most people crash out. All right, what are we looking at? Hey, there we go. Ooh, looks quite nice. It looks this page in particular, you can see this page immediately and be like, yeah, that's made in Lovable. Lovable has a it has a design that all Lovable sites look like, which I don't mind, but it does look extremely lovable. So, and it's the same here. This is a very lovable looking dashboard. I'm cool with it, but it's I know some people are not big fans. I haven't done any design work on it, so this is like the default. So now we have our lead magnets here, and we can view the landing page if it's been created, or we can generate it if it has not. And then we can flick over to here and we see the landing pages, and we can see how many views it's got, how many leads, therefore the conversion rate. What's that do? And that goes to the dashboard, so that doesn't really give me much. Okay, that gives me the leads, so that's cool. Yeah, Steve says it's the love of purple. They do love purple. They love these gradients, like this icon here, this blue to purple gradient. Yeah, this whole page was a Lovable gradient before, and I was like, nope, give me an off-white background, because they are very distinct. What you can do though, well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can either start in Figma, which is a really cool tool, and you can design the look and feel of your website, your app, whatever you're building beforehand, and then bring that into Lovable, bring that into Cursor. that works really well, especially if you're from a design background. Or it's a little bit more cheeky, you can find websites that you like the look of. So let's say I want to redesign my navigation bar, which I do. I could go to a website. Claude is a terrible... Okay, fine. Let's say I liked this design of Claude, this sidebar. I could screenshot it and then bring it into Lovable and say, I want you to make my sidebar look like this. Conform it with my current design in terms of the color, font, etc. But we're going to borrow these best practices. So you can steal bits and pieces from other websites, which sounds a bit icky, but that's what you do when you're working with a designer. If you're working with a designer, very often they'll ask, like, what kind of websites do you like, what websites don't you like, and then that's used by them and by you as the client to kind of put together a lookbook and come up with a visual identity. Very often it's based on other websites, unless it's something truly unique, but that's a very small part of the market. Cool, so where are we? We've added this landing page thing that works. This loading speed is good, because previously that was killing me, but we fixed it in one shot, so that was good. We're looking good. So do we have a phase 4? Okay, looks good. Next phase. I can't even remember if we have a... I don't remember if we have a... I think we have 5 phases. I should be more careful, because often if you tell an AI like next phase or move on to the next thing and nothing's been defined, it will probably just make something up and push ahead with it. Like, yeah, I got you. Okay. Yes, we did have a phase 4. But let me confirm that. Increasingly, the AIs are getting better at this, though, and I've noticed this in Lovable. So here we go. So we're doing navigation integration. I think it's doing its own phase 4. It's doing its own phase 4. It just did exactly what I thought I warned against. Often an AI will, well, they're agreeable. So I've said, let's move on to phase 4. It has forgotten what phase 4 is because it's too far up in its memory. And so instead of just saying, hey, I don't know what phase 4 is, can you remind me? It said, yeah, sure. And it's pushed ahead and it's doing individual landing page analytics and management. That's actually something that I do want. So I'm not stopping it. That's why I'm not telling it off. But you need to be very wary of this. It'd be easier if I wasn't yapping at the same time. So if you were just working on your project, you can pay attention to these things. If you're also answering questions and talking and blabbing and showing people your other projects, and if you're stupid like me, then it's easy to get distracted. I was thinking about doing these vibe coding sessions in the evening and like doing it with a beer, like beer and coding, but I realize that's a terrible idea because I will just make a complete pig's ear of everything. I also don't know if I could do that on stream. I wonder if that would get me like kicked off TikTok. I'd have to drink it from I have a pint glass here, but this is obviously water. This is not gin. I'm not drinking a pint of straight gin at 12:45. I'm not drinking a pint of straight gin at any time. I'm not sure why I'm checking the time on that. Okay, so it's still putting together an analytics and management. Ragnar says, what are you doing? I am building an application. So the challenge is to live stream building an app, going from an idea, which I had a couple of weeks ago, to launching it within 30 days. I'm only allowed to work 1 hour per day, despite wanting to work a lot more. I have to restrain myself because I want to show that anyone can do this as well, and that you can build a functioning business within 30 days. That is going to be the plan. I really need some help. Please call up. I've got some software that's worth trillions. I need your help. Yeah, ask questions in chat. I don't really do calls. Okay, great. Let's move to phase 4 individual landing page. Oh, it's still doing that. I'm a bit annoyed that it's still doing that because this isn't even what it's meant to be doing. So somebody asked earlier how many credits you're using. I've used about 20 so far today. Oh, plus 5 because they give me 5 free credits per day. So we were on about 70 and we had the 5 free credits. Now we're on about 50. Which works out at, I don't know, a few dollars. Probably. Yes, I do need a 590. I'm going to get a 580. 590s are too expensive. Created comprehensive phase 4 landing page dashboard with tabbed interfaces. Okay, this, I did not ask it to do it, but let's go ahead and see what it's done. But that was not what it was meant to be doing. So phase 4 was meant to be navigation and integration, ensure proper routing to individual landing page dashboards. It's already done that. Add loading states and error handling, test all navigation flows. I don't know how it's going to do that. And then testing security. So that's, I do want to do that. So, but first, let's pop on over and see. It's done a bit of extra curriculum work. Let's see what it's done. Okay, so there is a dashboard. Ah, okay. So it's updated the dashboard. So it's given me, what have we got? Total views. Oh, okay. Right, so it's given me an overview page. It has recent leads, performance insights, days active, conversion rate, etc., etc. Then it has an analytics tab, which is kind of the same thing. So I don't really see what the point of that is. It's given me a traffic source figure here. I think that's made up. That feels made up to me, because where's it getting these numbers from? So we're going to need to push back on that. And I'd rather have no source analytics rather than made up ones, because that's not helpful. Leads, fine. Export CSV, view details. What's the view details do? Nothing. Okay, so great. And then settings. Now this is interesting. This allows me to change the page itself. Let's see if this actually works. New headline, because this is quite cool if it does, because it was something I wanted to do. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, so Lovable, it hallucinated what phase 4 was. Sorry, Claude, because Claude is sitting underneath. Hallucinated what phase 4 is, built me something. It looks great, doesn't work. So cool. Deactivate page, does that do anything? Oh, that does do something. Let's see if it actually does anything. Page not found. Okay, so that's been deactivated. Let's reactivate it. Page found. Okay, that's quite cool. Let's see if that actually changes. No, it doesn't say new headline, so it hasn't changed. Let's try that again. So here's a question. Do I bother to fix the things that it has made for me, which I didn't actually ask for, or do I roll it back to the previous ones? I think it's quite useful. It's just done it in a weird way. Also, I'm worried about this. It's allowed me to change the slug. I have the feeling that will just break things, because the routing is not necessarily going to be... Oh. No, so it's still going to... So that hasn't saved. So we need to be careful here, so we'll do it this way. Get rid of this for now. Okay, Lovable, thank you for my analytics panel. So in the detailed analytics, you have traffic sources. I don't know where you're getting that information from, or if it is real. Can you confirm what you've done there? And if it is not actually connected to UTMs or anything legit, let's get rid of that. And if that is the case, get rid of the analytics page for now, because it doesn't do anything. The leads page is good. The view details button does nothing next to the lead email. So remove that, because I don't think we need it anyway, because it doesn't connect to anything else. in the settings, the save changes and preview changes doesn't do anything. Deactivate page does work, but save changes doesn't. I like the idea of being able to change the page title, headline, subheadline, call to action guide, so the elements of the page. That's cool. Maybe actually extend that so I can change all the elements of the page, so it becomes a basic edit menu. I'm okay with that. That is cool. However, the page slug, I'm a bit worried that if we change the page slug, we will break all of the routing and disconnect it from the video, disconnect it from the lead magnet, disconnect it from the user, etc., etc. So please confirm whether that page slug will cause other problems. If that is likely because of routing, please go ahead and remove the ability to change the page slug. So first, let's discuss all of this. Do not implement anything. This is discussion first. Thanks. So I'm not that mad with Lovable, but what it's done is it's gone ahead and created a whole suite of tools I didn't ask it to, and they don't work very well. So it's created work for me to either roll it back or to fix it. These are things that I kind of wanted to add anyway, so I'm just going to see if we can get them working. But it's a little bit annoying because it hallucinated phase 4 and thought I wanted all of those things, which is my fault because I said move on to phase 4 without specifying what that was, assuming that it had still remembered, but we'd been working for, I don't know, 40 minutes or so, so it had forgotten what that is. Is that racist still blocked? Oh yeah, that's a nice easy one. So I'm actually, I don't mind people coming into my chat and talking crap about me. I'm fine with that. I have a thick skin and I generally laugh at them and think they're a bit sad. It's when they come in and they start abusing other people in the chat, or like the dude yesterday, like the first question he asked was, what was it? It was like, I've just got a job and I'm the only non-Indian on the team. Do you have any advice? It's like, what? So I knew immediately he wasn't coming from a place of good faith. Let's put it that way. And he probably had bad intentions. And then every single one of his messages had something to do with race in it. And it's like, okay, no, we're not playing this game. So whenever somebody is hateful, or they start having a go at somebody else in my chat, no, you're gone, and got immediately gone. But for me, people come in and they say that I've got a lisp and I can't pronounce my R's. Yeah, true. Oh well, we'll manage. But yeah, you come at someone else, off you go, get out. And yeah, he's still blocked. I don't even know how to unblock him, honestly. I don't know what his name is or how I'd even find him so he can remain very much blocked. Have you thought about a Discord? Might be good for information sharing, collating, resourcing. So I have a WhatsApp. I've got a couple of WhatsApp groups for people in my community. The reason is that's what I use, basically, and I found it's a better place to create smaller communities. Discord is good. I use Discord mainly for gaming stuff, though. It doesn't really feel like a place for work, so I use WhatsApp for community. It's always a big question. I was talking to oh my god, I've forgotten his name. It's terrible. Oh, Daniel Vassallo, who set up Small Bets, and he sold Small Bets for how much recently? He sold it earlier this year for $500k. Yeah, he sold it for 500k. No, I was about to say. I sold my business Small Bets for 3.6 million to Gumroad 5 months ago, and I was talking to Daniel about this recently. We're on a call and asking about community and like what's the best place to build a community. And he said, look, whatever people are using, if they're already using Slack, build it in Slack. If they're already using Discord, stick it in Discord. But you just need to make that friction as low as possible. Steven says, you do an amazing job of running your channels whilst doing everything else. Yeah, tell me about it. It's hard to have a break. The other thing is, when doing things like AI news, I know that the moment I go on holiday, the moment I'm on like the tarmac about to walk onto the plane, that's when GPT-6 or whatever drops. Like, my God, because it does not stop. There's constant new stuff. So traffic sources, fake data. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Lovable. All right. Okay, in that case, get rid of the analytics tab overall because it doesn't add anything, and get rid of the fake data which is in the analytics tab. View details literally does nothing. Yes, remove that. So I want you to make the settings, save and preview buttons functional, please. So add on-click handlers and have them actually edit the landing page. Thank you. Page slug, dangerous to change. Yes, it will break everything. Yes, it will. I thought it might. So can you get rid of the remove page slug editing entirely? What I would like though is when they create their landing page, could you add the ability for them to choose their slug, please, in the creation process? So when they first generate a landing page, you give us a form. It is initially filled with AI, so the title, the headlines, the benefits, etc. Can you add an extra field there, which is the slug, and auto-generate it, as you are already doing, but give them an option to change it. And then can you just put a little tip like underneath it saying, once saved, this tool, this slug is permanent. So please verify it, or please be careful creating your slug. Can add that into the generator, so not into the settings page. I want you to remove it from the settings in the dashboard. Okay. And extended page editing inside the dashboard. Yes, please. Yes, let's go ahead and add that. And you need to make sure the save page functionality is working for that to be useful. Thank you. Cool. Can you build complex apps or just simple ones? Do you mean me personally or Lovable? So I guess the answer to both is the same. I am not a technical, I don't have a technical background. I can code a little bit in Python, enough to kind of be dangerous, but not, I couldn't build a application from scratch. I've done a plugin on WordPress before. That's kind of the extent of it. So I am at a base level as well. I'm able to kind of understand the structure of what's going on, but that has come from building, from creating stuff using vibe coding and bothering to educate myself at the same time. In terms of the tool itself, it's a moving target. So the vibe coding apps, they are best used for creating simple applications, ones that are very unique and defined purpose. They're very good at doing that. So they're able to one-shot simple tools, basically. You could build a more complicated application. You can add authorizations, you can add a more complex backend, you can add in AI, obviously. But it starts to get to a point where a tool like Lovable, Bolt, Replit, V0, etc., they might hit limitations. At that point, what you can do is you can use GitHub, and you can push from your vibe coding tool into GitHub. GitHub is, this is a massive simplification, I'm going to get yelled at, but basically like a cloud storage project archive, where you can keep your project and you can keep each stage of your project as you change the code. And then you're going to pull it down into Cursor. So you push it, save it into the cloud from Lovable, and then you download that save basically into Cursor, and then you continue to build in Cursor, which is a more intermediate to advanced tool, and it has more power. That said, the vibe coding tools are getting better and better and better and better, and the models are getting better and better and better. So it's not a static target. So if you asked me this question 6 months ago, I would say yes, you could only use vibe coding for very, very simple applications, and anything above that and it would just fall to pieces. Because the models are getting better, because the vibe coding tools are getting better, the complexity of what we can build is also increasing, and they're making it easier to make more and more complicated pieces of software. So a year from now, we might be able to do very impressive things that we can't do today. But right now, we're still in that kind of transition phase where you might want to take it to Cursor, and you might want to build more in depth using a more powerful tool later. What I would say Cursor and all of these tools are really good for, though, is being able to basically take an idea out of your head and actually get it into some kind of form, so you can start to see whether or not it's a good idea. Because far too many entrepreneurs have a great idea that they sit on for years and they never start building it. Generally, when they start building it, they realize that, oh no, this is a bit crap. This is rubbish. I need to change it. And vibe coding allows you to do that. And it's also a really good entryway into actually learning to code as well. So it's not magic. Vibe coding can't do everything. You will hit problems. There will be difficulties, but it is still an extremely exciting technology. Okay, it has gone ahead and it has changed all of that mess that it created. Let's have a look. I mean, we are literally clearing up a mess that the vibe coding tool created just now, which gives you an idea of its limitations. So I had 5 phases that I was working on today, 5 different steps. We worked through steps 1, 2, and 3. Totally fine. It took us about 40 minutes though, so it had forgotten what had happened. It had forgotten the plan by the time we got to phase 4, and I said go ahead with the next phase, and it was like absolutely, and it made up what the phase was and did something else basically. Thankfully what it did was kind of cool, so I want it in place, but I'm now going back to check out to basically fix it. So okay, so it's got our landing pages, that's working. I can now go into the dashboard. It's got rid of the analytics tab, which is good because it didn't do anything. This overview is fine. It kind of brings into question what's the point of this compared to the leads. We could just have the leads page here, but that's fine. Copy, preview, deactivate. Let's go to settings. So here's a question. Let's see if I can. Page title. This is my new page title. Exclamation mark. Let's see if that saves. Okay, go back. Nope. No, that did not save. New page title. Let's try again. Why is it preview changes? It's not a preview mode. No, so that has not worked yet. So we obviously need to work on that. But I am out of time. Oh, I'm over. So again, the purpose of this stream is to only build for 1 hour per day. So unfortunately, that is something that I'm going to need to come back to tomorrow, because I want to show that anyone can do this if you just carve out an hour a day. Hell, you can do a lot more in your hour than I can in my hour, because you're not yapping to to social media at the same time. So I want to show that over 30 days, 1 hour per day, we're going to build something which I think we'll be able to monetize. That is the plan, at least. So thank you for joining me. All of the videos are available on YouTube. There is a playlist that you can find. I will also put together a guide to help you get started with this stuff, and I'll probably put it at the top, maybe as an introduction video. That'd be quite useful, just to explain what we're doing, what we're building, etc, etc. And there is also another live I do every single morning around 10 AM UK time, where I run through the AI news and updates of the day, and all of this appears in a newsletter which comes out every single morning, and it's free. So make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you are subscribed for the newsletter as well. And I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the great questions. I love that YouTube is getting busy with the questions as well. YouTube used to be absolutely dead, so it's great that you guys are sending in questions as well. Thank you guys, and have a lovely, what are we, Thursday? God, where's September going? Bye.